a cohesive team. I thought that was a unicorn, a bit of an illusion.
Confusion is ugly, undermines teamwork and cohesion and kindness by its nature.
My first kick of the cat, if that's the phrase,
kick of the cat.
Was
yeah, I hope you don't
can.
kick the cat. Don't kick the cat. We're animal lovers.
Welcome to the Serious Playfulness podcast, where we explore the work of building healthy, mission-driven organizations that don't suck the life out of you. I'm Kyle.
And I'm Stephanie. And if you secretly dream of a workplace that you actually want to go to, then you're in the right place. Let's get to work.
Stephanie and I today want to talk about the new year, looking ahead at the landscape of your work with your team, and invite you as the leader to think about how it's going, and introduce to you then a tool that we've created that's a free tool whereby you can actually work with your team on helping assess and then make some things better in a very simple way. But before we get to that and talk about how you can access it, let's go through some indicators that might alert you to a need to give your team a little TLC. So Steph, what comes to mind as some possible indications?
Yes, so I would say these are yellow, red flags, some of the things that we can list off here for the leader who's curious. First thing on the top of my mind is a boring, ineffective meeting, or no meetings. Actually, irregular, random meetings are also a cue that there are some problems underlying the team and clarity.
And let me unpack that a little more. It's because, well, boringness is usually what? It's usually a fruit of a lack of talking about the real things with a kind of passionate engagement. Or when you don't even have them at all, that means there's not a mechanism for the team to engage in these things and together make, generally speaking, good decisions. So it would indicate that there's something really kind of potentially off.
Yes.
So,
if you left a meeting wondering, why wasn't that just an email? Or sitting in a meeting thinking, why am I here? And that could be a staff meeting, but that could also be a board meeting. Sitting in a board meeting thinking, why am I giving up my evening to attend this? Those are some really quick, that's probably the quickest way when I talk to a leader, I assess, what's your meeting? What's it like? And if it's not a rigorous discussion that's solving problems or making a plan for a target, then we're off course.
Great. So meetings that aren't doing great. What is another one, Steph? Why don't we go with the confusion indicator? We've been talking about conducting clarity audits with clients, and we want confusion as an indication that something is not unified in the thinking of your people. It could be around what roles, who's supposed to do what by when. It could be around what we're focused on. It could be around
like, what was the decision? Leaving a meeting and then being just surprised later, like, oh, that was the decision? Oh, I didn't understand that. Or hearing about a decision that catches you off guard. It's the confusion across the team.
Yes, good one. Could also be that if there are other levels of the people, be they staff or volunteers, that they're not hearing either accurately or at all the direction that's needed from the leadership. So a lack of that communication out from the team could be an indicator too.
Another one I'll add to that before we move on is being unclear what your teammates do. So you're like, what does Bob do all day? We should know that. Yeah, you don't need to know his schedule, but you should have a general idea of like, what's he working towards? What's filling his day? How is his efforts supporting the rest of the initiatives? And we should have a loose idea of what that answer is.
Yes. And let me press into that one a little bit. When that's not the case, then some ugly things can happen. You're not sure how to collaborate as intelligently as you might. And then also you might start to make assumptions actually about Bob's activity or maybe even his motives. And that's where we can make dark assumptions that are not helpful, and they can undermine relationships too. It's a good one.
That's right.
What about where conversations are happening?
Oh yeah.
I remember, this is a wonderful story that my mentor Keith used to say about how the real conversations were basically happening in the parking lot. And a leader once said to his team, hey team, let's put our chairs in the next meeting out in the parking lot for our meeting. And this was in a cold climate in the winter. And then he said, because that's where the real conversations are happening. So let's just formalize that and make the meeting location there. So if that's happening, if you're finding that people are having those conversations, not in the meetings with the team they're working with, then that's a good indication too.
Absolutely. Yeah.
How about morale, Steph? Maybe we can define morale. It's one of those terms that often is sort of unclear. It's a little bit murky. How would you define morale, Steph?
Good question. I think of kind of the spirit and energy of the group of people. Is it high morale? So a high energy, enthusiastic, harnessed, it's engaged, or this low morale is well, the symptoms of that are people not really giving it their all. The energy is low, the engagement is low, and you could kind of feel it in the group of people. If you walk into a team, into an office that has high morale, it lifts you up, and you'll be like, "Wow, there's something really cool happening here."
Mm-hmm. And by the way, have you ever worked in a low morale organization?
Yes.
Okay.
And I quit.
Okay. So it's kind of saying the obvious. It's not a place to bring the best out of people, and it's a place where you can also lose good people.
That's right.
So pay attention.
Actually, it alludes to another symptom worth noticing is that if good employees start leaving, we're actually probably quite far along the team problem by the time that good people start leaving. But if for the leaders listening, like, have you lost staff you wish you could have kept? That'll indicate there's some root problems.
It's a good one. What about no disagreement?
Yeah.
You're not hearing differing voices.
Yeah.
We kind of touched on this a little bit earlier with meetings, but let's unpack it a little bit more.
Often when I meet with a leader who's a bit interested in our work and I ask, how's your team? And they say, oh, we're good. Like everyone gets along and there's really no conflict. That is concerning to hear. And one of the questions I'd like to ask a leader is, when was the last time one of your team members disagreed with you? When was the last time they said, hey, I actually don't understand that decision, or I see this circumstance differently. Here's what I suggest. And if it's been a while for a leader since they've heard someone disagree with them, then that is definitely a yellow flag, that it's not candid. There's people biting their tongues because no leader has made flawless decisions. We know that some of them are not tip top, and the reason we have a team is so our decision making improves, not just the leader making only his decisions.
That's right. And maybe we should make a distinction. We're not talking about mutiny. We're not talking about people are unwilling to follow valid direction and guidance. This would mainly take place in the deliberation stage when we are working through something and needing to make a decision, and you're not hearing opposing viewpoints that could help you with making the best decision. What about this one? The speed of decisions. I could think if things are kind of going slow, if team members or leader, or if you as a leader, if you're just kind of stuck and not able to move forward for whatever reason, that could be an indication too, because we know that can cause all kinds of things, right? Delay in direction and decisions and communication. It can lead to frustration. It can lead to a lack of trust, actually, because people might begin to wonder if we're maybe really committed or even capable of moving forward together. Do you have any thoughts on that one, Steph?
It reminds me of another yellow flag, and it's one that I've lived, is if the leader is, well, for me, it was waking up in the middle of the night stressed. And why is that? That points to not knowing the priority, not knowing what is clearly the strategy here, what's my target, and instead just kind of doing any good thing, making decisions without a clear structure for why do I say yes to this and no to that. And that's really anxiety provoking and causes confusion for the leader, but kind of everyone else too. The leader will probably wear it heavier though.
Excellent. Well, why don't we talk now about this tool that we've created that we want to offer to people?
Yeah.
And we're calling it a DIY, do-it-yourself team assessment tool. And we'll share with you how you can access it if you're interested. So Steph, take us through kind of what it is, what its components are, how it could be helpful.
Yeah. Well, the heart behind this is we were thinking about the leaders who might be listening to our podcast and interested in organizational health. They've started maybe asking questions or watching their team thinking, maybe we can make some improvements. But they're not quite ready to hire a consultant and bring in extra resources. They're just going to take a step forward. So we made this package for you, the leader, who wants to do something in-house. And it is a PDF package that outlines your next team health meeting. So the leader has everything they need to plan for that meeting, to run it. And the result of that meeting will be a really good litmus test of how healthy and clear are we. So the package is there from start to finish. And I think back to my days in a leadership position, and this would have been really helpful to get the conversation started with my team.
Excellent. And the target encounter with the team is basically a 90-minute session where you come into it with the team having thought about a few prompting questions about how it's going, and then basically sharing your various answers to that, and then deciding to do just one or two simple things to make things better. So we hope that you will have a look at that and make use of it, and let us know if we can be helpful for you.
That's right. And we're going to have it up on the website, so you can go sign up for it, immediately get it in your inbox, and within days, if you're quick about it, have this up and running inside of your team.
We'll make it a short and sweet episode today. We wanted to just invite the leader to think about the coming year, and then any indications, any flags that where things could be better, and then give you a tool that you can use to begin to work on it. So thank you for listening today, and we'll see you next time.